going to pick up the fourth quarter of the Washington Commanders versus Kansas City. It's 16-13 KC. Washington with the ball in the KC red zone. Down 3 points and just misses an interception. Makes it 2nd and 10 from the KC 14. This is Washington's second possession of the second half. The long first possession ended in a missed fourth down conversion attempt deep in Kansas City territory when it was tied 13-13. Kansas City came back driving. There's a flat pass to Bates on this 2nd and 10. Incomplete, makes it a 3rd and long. KC came back off the missed fourth down conversion attempt and had a long drive of their own inside the Washington red zone. Got down inside the 5 on a short pass, but a holding call pushed KC back, and it ultimately ended in a KC field goal to make it 16-13. And this is the ensuing drive after that field goal for Washington. And a big 3rd and 10 from the KC 14. You see Chris Jones here, when they go 3-3-5, he gets a really nice matchup at nose and 72% chance of a sack. And he's looking past here to Bates, looking for the 6 on the white die. Does not get it and does not get enough yak. So it's going to be a 4th and 6. And Washington has been going for it, but now they go on to attempt to tie it up. The kick is good. 16-16. 12:54 left, fourth quarter. And it's touchback. And what do we miss? We missed a 10-yard completion. And so it's 1st and 10 for KC to 35. And a penalty offside against KC makes it 1st and 15. You see all the injuries along the Commanders' defensive front with usually a pretty stout defensive line. The injuries have been piling up for Washington. Long pass, Tyreek. Nobody's back there, incomplete. Let's take a quick look at him. Injured coming into the game was Antonio Gibson, but since then, Scherf has gone out, Allen's gone out, Ignatius has gone out. At least short pass to Hill, complete this time, possible penalty. It's an illegal contact. It'll be declined. KC will advance the ball up to their 42. Oh, they accept the penalty. So 1st and 10 from the 35. Let's see quite the circumstances if that would have been a first down. Long pass to Tyreek Hill. Again, nobody back there. Tyreek can't bring it in on the defensive card. Oh, and he's up against the 4 as well on the 5 white die. So many chances. And another defensive injury. This time it's Danny Johnson now. We're digging deep into the Washington roster here. Pull out the cards to figure out what the implications are. Flat pass. Williams, he picks up 23 big ones. Into Washington territory at the 42. 1st down and 10 for KC. Danny Johnson's a backup 4 cornerback. Off tackle, Darrell Williams gets 4 yards in between those short gains, 2nd and 6. up to the Washington 38 inside of Butker field goal range. Lots of inside running opportunities against those zeros. Short pass going back to Hill, forcing the issue with Hill. Another good opportunity here for KC. It's going to be flush. And Mahomes gets 7. And a first down for KC. Up to the 31. Right defensive tackle Tim Settle was in for Jonathan Allen. It was an 89 on the sack. Allen would not have gotten that sack. He's been running around 20% all night against Joe Tooney. Looking past Kelsey. No, got a 0 there. And Kelsey's going to get a yard. 2nd and 9. We talked about the challenging yak. Guessed right for Mahomes. And there you see it showing up. Not so challenging there. A lot of people have -1 on 7. Guessed right. 2nd and 9. From the 30. 3 wide. Flat pass. Darrell Williams. Nobody's home. Gets 23. Big completion there to the empty zone. And it's 1st and goal. It's Edwards-Helaire. 3 wide. He's a good right runner, especially on the ends, in case that one die comes up on the white die. Off tackle. Helaire, he's keyed. Loss of 1. Fumble up to 18.7 for Helaire on key situation. But the 572 shows up on the 1,000 die, so no fumble. 2nd and goal from the 8. 3 wide again, not showing blitz here against Darrell Williams. Short pass to Williams. And can Mahomes find him? He's sacked. A 30. He fumbles. Recovered by the offense. Oh, my. Darren Payne gets in against Algretti. Algretti is a substitution. Let's see if KC tries to advance. I would doubt it here. You don't want to risk losing it. Ooh, he does, but just gets a yard. That's an important yard, though, because now from the 15, the short pass 7 comes into play against a banged-up Washington defense. So does that yard make the difference here? Yeah, not that KC wouldn't go for it on 4th and 1 if it was from the 16. So here's a short pass to Pringle. He's up against a 0, I believe. Does he find that 7? He's going to get flushed. Needs 15 big ones, gets 7. So Bucker's going to be on for Chippy. I believe he's 2 through 11 here at the 8-yard line. Bucker's kick. It's good. But there's a penalty. Do it again. Now back from the 13. I think he still has 2 through 11. Most guys go down to 2 through 10, but I think he holds up his 2 through 11. Let's see. The kick is back up again. And good. 2 through 10. So 19-16. KC leads. 6 minutes left in the 4th. Touchback. Washington without Gibson, and most of the halfbacks are fatigued. McKissick's fatigued. I think Patterson is also fatigued. All those carries that Gibson gives you doesn't leave much room for anybody else. So you see Ricky Seals-Jones here in the backfield. So the only run option is Heineke. And he's not much of a run option. Does not bring you an end run. Thus the 3-2-6 defense for KC, which brings the added benefit of Chris Jones at nose that we pointed out earlier. And on first down, we have a possible penalty. It's a late hit against KC. That might be KC's 3rd or 4th personal foul. One of those personal fouls back in the first half was on a 3rd and long that fell incomplete around midfield for Washington. And they, of course, retained the ball after the personal foul and went on for a touchdown. 5:42 left. Seals-Jones stays in. Flat pass to Seals-Jones against a 4 out there. Going to get 5 yards on Heineke's card. Joey Sly, the kicker for Washington. Good out through 38, 2 through 6. Looking past Seals-Jones. And it's a long gain. How many does he get? What is Seals-Jones? What can he do? He can do 54 yards touchdown. Wow. 6 white die. 2 gives him the long gain. And Seals-Jones, who knew he had 54 in him? Let's take a look at Ricky's long here. I got the cards nearby. Down for the extra point. Sly's already missed an extra point today. Both kickers have. It's an important one. And it seems like Washington might be thinking about 2 here. They really don't have the runners to do it. So I don't think they do. Meanwhile, I can't find Seals-Jones' card. Still thinking. Seals-Jones has a dot with 39. So that's what gave him the ability to go all the way. And indeed, Washington's going for 2, up 3 points. Does not trust Joey Sly here. His extra point, I think, is 2 through 9-12. Correct, 2 through 9-12. McKissick in the backfield, fatigued. Can still get these 2 yards a number of ways. It's an off tackle to the fatigue McKissick. He needs at least 3 on his card. And he does not get it. Willie Gay makes the play. And it stays a 3-point game. Makes the task a lot easier for Patrick Mahomes here with 5 minutes left. Edwards-Helaire in the backfield. Flat pass Hardman. He's an A on the yak. And that -3 turns into 7 thanks to that A yak. 2nd and 3. It is difficult though. If you hit that -1, it's as good as a sack. But finds a good reading. Short pass, Pringle, 4 men in zone. Complete for 11. Washington's short pass defense notoriously poor. Completions 4 men on 4, 5, and 6. And they don't bring much pass rush right now. Algretti, we mentioned earlier, he was the cause of the sack. Flat pass McKinnon. Nobody home. Opportunity for KC. And they get a long gain. McKinnon, how far can McKinnon go? Just 14 yards. Led up to the Washington 43. That's rough. I was going to say Algretti caused who lost the sack battle to Payne on the last drive. He's in for the injured rookie guard from KC, Trey Smith. comments about McKinnon. But 43 yards is nothing that this KC offense can handle to make it up for McKinnon's woes on his longest pass. Here's a looking pass to Darrell Williams. He can't bring it in on the receiver card. 2nd and 10. At the 43. Three wide versus the 3-3-5. That'll bring down the pass rush opportunity to just about nothing for Washington here. So you might see a bunch of short passing here. No, it's a flat pass again to Hartman. 2 men in zone. No INT. As Mahomes gets a 2-4 split for the pick, it shows up a 9 on the roll. But it brings up a 3rd and long. On the fringes of Bucker range. Can't imagine KC will be happy to go for a deep field goal here with the game on the line. As good as Bucker is. Short pass, Darrell Williams, 4-man in zone. Looking for that defensive card. It's picked off. 2-4 INT, the defensive card that we criticized earlier, comes up big. Is he going to try to return it or hold on to it? He returns it for 15 yards. Pretty weak interception return card there. And no complaints, though, from Washington. 1st down at their own 44 with 3 minutes left. The KCD needs to come up big now. Seals-Jones stays in the game. Might we see a line buck to Heineke to start this off? I doubt we see a 3-2-6 here. Down 3 points with 3 minutes left. Not going to go 3-2-6, I would imagine. 3-3-5, more like it, I would say. Goes 4-2-5. Okay, yeah, that's fine too. Let's see if Heineke gets the call here. No, switches it all up and goes deep to McLaurin. He's up against a 5. And Heineke tucks it and runs for a big 13 yards. Wow. 1st down up to the KC 43. Timeout KC. So KC going to end up using these timeouts on the front end of the warning, it looks like. Again, Ricky Seals-Jones in the backfield. 1st and 10. Against the 3-3-5. Short pass, Bates. 4 men in zone. Complete for 10. Heineke clutch. Up to the 33. 1st down. 2:42 left. Another timeout. So one more 1st down for Washington, and it'll be a real challenge for KC, given its timeout situation. Is Washington ever going to turn to the run or just going to continue to throw and throw and throw? It's another throw. This time it's Bates out in the flat. 8 yards. Wow. Second and 2. KC lets this go to the warning. Seals-Jones stays in the game. Going to have to see a line buck here to Heineke, aren't we? His fumble's about 7. So it's a little bit elevated. Is Heineke. There it is. Guess run. Looking for 2 yards. It's going to be difficult to get in his own card. No gain. So that'll force KC to call its final timeout. No gain, not the end of the world. Keeps it a 3rd and 2. And 2 yards here, and this game is over. Stays with Seals-Jones. Could bring in a fatigue back, decides not to. So it's a 2-yard line buck, which would be not the easiest to get, but certainly possible if KC guesses pass, or look for the flat pass. I imagine short passes in the cards too. You see the blitz there, very important. Intimidating blitz coming. Flat pass to McLaurin. One man there guessed wrong. Just needs 2 yards. Can McLaurin bring it in? He can. 8 yards. Possible penalty. Holding against Washington. Stops the clock. Pushes Washington back to the 35. Joey Sly, 2 through 6 out here. Elevates to 2 through 8, 12 inside the 33, meaning 23 to 32 range. And now you see the 3-2-6 here. Going to have to sneak it. Do a line buck draw to Heineke, get this clock down and get in a decent field goal range. Instead, it's a looking pass to Seals-Jones. Does he bring it in? Catching it's very important. He doesn't catch it. That preserves a good 30 seconds for KC and a very long field goal. KC went from on the brink to having probably a 50-50 chance of tying this up, given that Bucker is 2 through 7 and 12 out to the 39-yard line. Here's a punt from the 35, very important. Can he pin KC deep or not? Tress Way on the coffin corner. He does have a block. The return is on. Not going for the block. The punt sails 34 yards to the 1-yard line. Holy cow. Well, forget 50-50. That unlikely event shifts things back in favor of Washington here, as KC has no timeouts and has to travel a good 60 yards in 1:30. If anybody can do it, Patrick Mahomes can. Flat pass, Hardman. Man is there. Incomplete, possible penalty. Unnecessary roughness, just what the doctor ordered for KC. Stops the clock, brings him out to the 16-yard line. Very efficient 15-yard pickup. KC feels as if they deserve 1 or 2 of those. Long pass sprinkle, 2 men deep. Incomplete. Avoids the INT. You see Mahomes' line, 24-40, 266 yards, 2 TDs, but 2 interceptions. 2nd and 10. Going to be difficult to take the bait and throw a look in. Short pass, Pringle, 4 men there. Must run 21 yards for Mahomes. Up to the 37-yard line. Couldn't get out of bounds. Go hurry up here. Doesn't have to spike. And those 30 seconds from passing on 3rd and 13 play very big right now. 1st and 10, 37. Flat pass, Williams. No, got 1 man there, 0. Williams. -3 and nothing else. Loss of 3. Does he get out of bounds? He does not. Huge. Just a huge, huge play. 30 seconds left. Going hurry up here. Needs about 20-some yards. 3-2-6. Short pass, Pringle. Good call. I do the same. Can Pringle get it? He can't, but Mahomes can. 11 yards. Couldn't get out of bounds. Can't spike it. Unless he makes it fourth. Maybe he does. Yeah, because you got to spike it at this point. Does he? Gonna have to spike it. 4th and 2. Yeah, at their own 45. Doesn't. Oh, he does. Okay. Yep. 4th and 2. Well, he can't run up the gut. Edwards-Helaire does not have his end run here in the shotgun. So it's going to be a short pass, I would imagine. Perhaps long pass. It's a short pass to Tyreek. 4-man in zone. 4th and 2. It's incomplete. And another Washington injury just to finish that off. We've seen them all, but Washington will take it because they preserve a win. 22-19 over Kansas City. Incredible. Get a message through. Can't. I will head over to Slack and try to ping the guys there. So stand by a second here. So we've put the invite out. Looks like Tim may need to run. Let's take a look at the final lines here. 373 yards for Washington. Pretty even. Holmes' interceptions brought him down. That's really the difference there. Heineke with a near perfect game. That's all you can expect out of Heineke. 114 rating, 3 scores, no interceptions. Big interceptions for Mahomes. Looks like Tim's going to join. Mahomes led the team in running. 5 rushes, 54 yards. Limited rushing attack. Got the most out of David. Got the most he could out of Patterson and McKissick. Went to Patterson a lot on that first drive of the third quarter that ended up with no points for Washington. Tim, can you hear me okay?
Almost. Hang on. You there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, buddy.
All right, your thoughts.
Can we play it again? Can I start over? I'd like another shot at that one.
So I guess let's focus on the last couple series to start off before we go backwards, because the first half was super interesting too, I thought. The key play of the game, I suppose you have to say, it was Mahomes' interception 2 through 4 on the Washington short pass guard, where you expect to feast with no pass rush against you. But The 2 through 4 pick gotcha. I mean, not much else to say there, I guess, but you have anything to say on it?
I mean, yeah, just, look, it's, I'm convinced at this point, the old Bill Parcells axiom, you are what your record says you are. And I don't just mean that I'm a 3-3 team. I mean I'm a 3-3 team that, you know, should be probably 4-2, 5-1, something like that. And the reason I am is because I'm struggling. There's it's clear to me there's enough of a sample size right now that I have not decoded the right approach with this team. And I'm just now, in fact, as a matter of fact, this is kind of the first game where I'm starting to explore, branch out a little bit, try a few things that are different. Just because what I've been doing hasn't been working. I think that our primary job is to put our team in the best position to succeed. And for whatever reason, though I can't tell why, I know that I'm not doing that at this point.
Hmm.
So I'm struggling.
Hear you. The drive after the interception was a fascinating one. I mean, because you didn't see any runners in there. So,
Oh yeah,
we were thinking line bucks all day to Heineke. I think we saw a couple.
I was looking for that too. I was kind of expecting that, and even man, even at that point, it's like I was trying to just kind of because I knew I could. Listen, I was struggling from jump, uh, as I have been in all my games, and so there was a little bit of a deliberate uh, tempting him to run,
Mhm.
to run him out of those carries that I knew he had a limited number on. And before the fourth quarter ever showed up, we had ourselves a tie game or a 3-point lead, and he couldn't run the ball, period, for the most part. And so, man, but even with that, I can't seem to manipulate myself into an advantageous position enough. And
Yeah,
turnovers killing me.
I'm with you. I mean, I thought that third quarter drive, Washington's first drive of the third quarter, you did a 3 or 6 and out or something, and you had the ball, and then he used up Patterson's carries very effectively to David. I mean, he
Yeah.
was getting chunks, 8 yards here, 7 yards there,
4,
but
5. Yep.
exhausting those carries though. And then when that drive, you made a fantastic fourth down stop,
Yeah. Had a
and
couple of those.
yeah, I figured at that point it was a 60-70% chance for the Chiefs to prevail because he needed points. And you're going to use those carries. Those carries have to turn into points. And they
Right.
didn't.
Right. At that
So
point,
out of
I thought, "Oh, I've
carries,
got him. I've got him." At
yep.
that point, for everything that had gone wrong, I feel like at that point, I'm thinking, "There's no way. Even you can't blow this." You've got a team that literally has no more carries to give. But again, that's just another piece of the puzzle that is an example to me of, for whatever reason, this iteration of the Chiefs is one I have not decoded appropriately, and I'm not doing very well with them.
Well, how about you stop with the roughness penalties, huh?
Well, yeah, there was a little bit of that. Definitely some poorly timed ones. Um,
So one,
and then
yeah,
as I've
what
always
was
told you, I struggle on the yak card. I mean, I was excited to get Hardman in that yak opportunity with like 52 seconds or something. It's exactly what I want. Even a -3 on Mahomes' card, Hardman can turn that and burn that. But no, I get tackled out of bounds after like a 1 yard loss or something. And I mean, yeah, maybe I should have just kept throwing short, but man, it's a struggle, it's a slog, and boy, it's another one of those games where I could just kind of feel it throughout the game. This is following a similar blueprint. So I will be the least surprised person that I walked away with the loss there, to be honest.
and the injuries too? I mean, he
Yeah,
was
he was without
completely hampered on it. He was just getting very, very unlucky on the injuries. Obviously, just one after the next.
7 people on his bench at the end, no running backs that he could even use, and I still couldn't manipulate myself to an advantage.
You see the penalties here turned out even in terms of yards, but there was one in the first half. I think it was a 3rd and 10 for Washington around midfield, and threw a long pass incomplete. And I think you picked up a roughness there
Yeah.
that turned what was going to be a punt into a 1st and 10 at around your 35, and that cashed in for 7 points for Washington. I thought that was a back-breaking penalty.
Yeah, it was. He had a couple penalties. I know the very first drive of the game, I had him stopped at midfield, and then a penalty let him go on, and then I think I stopped him again. But overall, I mean, listen, again, I really don't want to, all my complaining about how poorly I'm doing, I don't want to take away from him and Bruce and some of these other people that have beat me this year, because especially when you consider like Washington sort of did the same thing to me, not quite as bad, but that the Eagles did, which is just grind and
Yeah.
grind and grind. And some of that, particularly in this game, not the Philly one, was by my design.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, he kept putting together. I mean, I remember I was looking in maybe the fourth quarter. I'm looking back on his last 3 drives, and they're all double-digit plays.
Yes.
And you're in trouble when you're just giving that up consistently. And I just couldn't get a stop.
He was very effective with flat passing, and not just because Heineke has a good flat passing card. He does. He's got a +2 guest right. He's a -1 guest right on the yak. But I thought Ricky Seals Jones, obviously, with the huge play,
Mhm.
but the small plays from Bates, from others, getting receptions, flat pass right on the receiver cards was just
Yeah,
one after another.
I think this is something that again thematically has been coming up a lot in my games is I'm just not getting the best of my opponent in the flat pass game. And I guess what's frustrating about that is although Mahomes' flat pass card isn't as good as maybe some of his opposing quarterbacks, perhaps even including Heineke, you might argue, he doesn't have the playmakers that Mahomes has. I've got 2 A's and multiple B's that I can roll out there as far as yak yardage, and I just don't seem to earn much of an advantage with those guys doing that. So, um, but in this game, I really kind of had a strategy going in, looking at the beauty of the short pass defense that was facing Mahomes, that I wasn't going to be scared two shits about the blitz. I just didn't care. I didn't even think about it. Wasn't worried about a sack. Didn't care about a sack, and I wanted to just keep firing. Uh, I guess in the end, it just didn't matter. Still,
What position are you going to be in with Hardman next week? I think you had lost in the previous week.
yeah, I
Um,
protected him and Williams a little bit, but listen, when the game starts, when you start seeing, okay, this is going to be a game that's going to come down to the last play. You're absolutely not going to separate from this team. At that point, I stop worrying so much about the usage. I got to, activate the plan for the win, which is, of course, as I'm struggling on continuously here, why those guys are behind in usage. I'm not getting a chance to rest these guys at all.
right. Let's see. Hardman at 28. At 134. You should be fine for next week for him. Williams, I mean, he's you can't use him much, or you're going to lose him in the next game.
Yep.
And you got let's see,
Obviously, yeah.
For is it Williams who's on the fringe?
Yeah. Yeah. Williams is the one that's on the
140,
fringe for me
144,
always.
147, 144. He had a good amount of touches. Um,
I
in
gave
the
him some
regular
touches,
season.
but he
In the
should be
regular season,
under,
I'm
I think.
saying, yeah. Let's see. He ended up
I gave him
with
more catches than runs.
Williams 5, and so he had 10 touches, which is going to bring him up to 47, 57, 77, 80 on the year. 80 all
That may be
day.
too much.
119. No, 119.
119. Okay.
At least
Okay.
just doing it real fast. So you'll
Well,
have, assuming that's all correct, you're going in to face who next week? Let's see here.
Titans, I think, which will
Titans.
be another game that I'm playing the same opponent the Chiefs have coming up. I just played the Bills when the Chiefs were playing them, and now I'm playing the Titans, and that's the Chiefs' next game after this bye week. Speaking of which, I will be there in Arrowhead for that game.
Awesome.
Yeah, baby.
Very, very cool. See, Henry has 82 carries and then 11, so he should be in okay shape.
I don't think he's
With
probably going to have much limitation at all.
yeah,
The real fear is Tannehill, because you can't just ignore Derrick Henry, and you've got to call run some, and Tannehill knows it. So that's a
yeah.
little scary.
He's not as effective as he was last year, but what's more effective with Tennessee now is their defense.
Yeah.
Defense is a pretty strong set of cards.
And you just got to give Mike Vrabel credit. He seems to do more with less than most any coach out there. They're never really necessarily ripe with talent, but he gets it out of him, man. He's a good coach.
An excellent rated run D. A short
really?
gain off tackle on 7. But that, I mean, otherwise, I mean, one linebacker in zone, up the middle, -3, -4, -3. One linebacker.
Sounds like Mahomes will be running and gunning again.
So if you go hunting for that off tackle, you can get bit. The pass D's average to poor. I mean, it looks like the Chiefs pass D, basically. A lot of long gains. I mean, not bad, but not a strength of the D. So that'll be an interesting one. They come in. I think they won this week, right? Beat Buffalo. So they'll come in 4-2 into your game, defending the lead in the AFC South. Well, any other thoughts on this one?
Just one last thought that I would, just because it's worthy. If anybody wants to know why I'm struggling, it's because Pat Mahomes has 12 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions so far. I think that's not what we were expecting coming into the season. And again, listen, you don't blame the cards, all right? And I'm not a guy to necessarily blame the dice all the time. I just think I'm not doing you can't have this level of multiple games struggling like I am without somewhere along the line, I'm not figuring something out. And so I think my next steps are to work on it. I think I'm going to be playing a lot of practice games.
We missed the first interception. What was that? So it was on third
down. Opening drive for me, which is a theme that keeps happening to me. First quarter is when I always dig myself a hole. And I managed to stop him after giving a penalty at midfield to extend his drive. When I thought I stopped him once, I managed to stop him again. Got the ball and drove just about, 10, 15 yards and threw an interception in my territory. That's how he got his first touchdown. And it feels like that's how everybody's been getting their first touchdown on me lately.
Flat pass, short pass, long
drive. That one was a short pass. It was one of those that on the card, you can see the INT first, and then it just stops and shows you on the card where you hit it. So it was on his card.
Mahomes card?
On Mahomes card from what I saw, yeah.
It was just 2 through 6 split, so you hit a 2 through 6 and you hit a 2 through 4.
Yeah. I've been hitting a lot of listen, 9 picks. I've been hitting a lot of those.
Yeah.
So, and my running game was back up to middle of the pack coming into this game as far as the yards I've been producing on the ground. I've been experimenting. I was, trying to even that out a little bit and see if that would help. I've just been trying some things, but as of now, I still have some work to do, figuring out what I'm doing here. And I've got Tennessee and the Giants coming up, and at that point, I've got Green Bay. I'm 3-3. I better figure out how to win a couple games here before I end up having to host Aaron Rodgers and what Scott Mueller's doing right now.
Yeah, that is a very intimidating team to have on your schedule when you need a win. I mean, anybody in the AFC with ambitions to get to the Super Bowl, you look at those Green Bay cards, like, oh, this is like a different. These cards come from a different set.
Feels that way a little bit.
It doesn't feel like it's from this year's set because we're used to playing a certain kind of team in the AFC, right? Especially in the AFC West. And then you look at those cards like this doesn't belong. Really? We're gonna have to face it.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your win the other night. Looks like that would have been broadcasting, or was it last night? There were 2 overtime games last night. I thought, man, I should have broadcast last night, but missed that window. But I appreciate you covering tonight's game, and I'll try to get one of them covered over the weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm gonna try hopefully get another one in as well. I appreciate it, Tim. Thanks for joining us, and
always happy to stop in, win or lose, rain or shine, buddy.
Better luck to you next week versus Pete and the Titans.
Let's hope. All right. Talk to you later, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it, and we will see you on another broadcast soon. Have a good night.